All right, so where to begin? This is actually a case that I'm working on right now, and you can follow this whole case from start to finish to get a good idea as to how you yourself can do what I'm doing right now. It's not hard, it just takes a lot of mental stamina because they will throw a whole lot of roadblocks up for you. So, what is this? It's a traffic stop, man. I passed by this traffic stop. Understand, I pass by a lot of traffic stops. However, this particular one really got my attention because as I passed by, I seen the female in handcuffs, the cop holding on to her. He was taking her out of the back of his car while the other cop, Cowdrey, systematically searched her vehicle. He was actually inside the vehicle as I passed. He is the K9 cop. So we have three cops, two regular cops. Well, they're part of the S squad, whatever the hell that means. It's some kind of new proactive citizen targeting policing that's going on that I'm just now learning about. Had I known how this was going to go, I would have got out of my car and went up and started filming and recorded what they said. There's nothing they can do about that. It's constitutionally protected activity under the First Amendment. The case law protecting the rights to film police. Glick v. Knife, 2011. Simon Glick filmed Boston police officers arresting a man in a public park. He was arrested for wiretapping and disturbing the peace. The ruling from the court. The court ruled the First Amendment protects the right to record public officials in public places. The key takeaway is police officers cannot arrest someone simply for filming them in public. Then you have ACLU versus Alvarez. Well, the ruling was that criminalizing the recording of police officers in public violated the First Amendment. Then you have Fields v. City of Philadelphia, 2017. These are all Supreme Court case rulings. The court held that the public has a First Amendment right to record police officers performing their duties in public spaces. Turner v. Driver. The ruling on that one was the court ruled that the First Amendment protects the right to film police, but it's also held that officers had qualified immunity because the right was not clearly established at the time. Key takeaway. The right to film police, constitutionally protected, but officers may still attempt to claim qualified immunity, meaning they will violate you, and they will just take a chance with taxpayer dollars. And they also run the risk of ending the federal funding for the agency they work for, because those that don't settle these lawsuits and they go to the end and the ruling goes for the plaintiff, guess what that means? That means there's a possibility that federal funding could be halted, can be temporarily suspended. It also could trigger a DOJ investigation. That's why so many agencies are so quick to settle cases where they know they were wrong. Then we got Fordyce versus City of Seattle, where the ruling was the court found that citizens have the right to record public officials, including police officers, in public spaces. And we're going to have some keynotes here, but had I known how this is going to go with the body cam, I would have got out of my car, walked up, and start filming. And by the way, Houston v. Hill protects me if I want to talk to the driver or even talk to the cops. It's not obstruction, it's not disorderly conduct, it's not disturbing the peace, it's none of those things. Houston v. Hill is a Supreme Court ruling that gives me the right, even if I want to yell, talk to the driver that's being detained or questioned. The police can't do anything about it. However, they will. They will try. I'm telling you, I've been in a situation many times. They will try. So where are we at? We have a little write up here I did, basically about the stop, because what I got back from Richmond County was that body cam from all officers are exempt. The exemption they're claiming, we'll talk about that here in a second, but basically it is, the first one is a prosecution exemption, but as you can see down here, she just got a warning. And then the second exemption, they're trying to protect whatever methods they're using to violate people. And that's really the only thing this can really mean. The actual law is that they're protecting confidential sources and protecting people that could be put in jeopardy by releasing a body cam, which this happened in a public place on a public road. I filmed it. They pulled her over for a window tint violation. Now, there is no incident report. That's what they're claiming, that these cops are out there violating policing on their own with no supervision, following no laws, policies, or anything of that nature. But what is the policy on incident reports? Let's go look. I just so happen to have the Richmond County Sheriff's Office Policy and Procedures Manual. There was once upon a time they tried to charge me $160 for this policy manual to go through and do the redactions. But I outsmarted them, and I got it from a different source. That source is the Georgia Post Council. It was part of a case file, and it's not redacted, so gotcha. So what is the actual policy on incident reports? Deputies shall complete a traffic incident report and pursuit report documenting the details of the incident, indicating the star chase deployment. Not sure what that is, but I'm going to check into that and see what kind of open records I can get on this. Let me go ahead and copy this real quick. I didn't even know about that. Put it at the very top of my little file here. There we go. The report and all required documentation will be submitted for supervisor's review and approval during that deputy shift and uploaded into LERMS. The report should also be forwarded to the traffic division commander. It says deputies shall complete. It doesn't say anything about any exceptions or anything like that. All incident reports are entered and maintained in RMS, ACID, Criminal Investigation Division, I imagine. Supervisor will screen and rate the solvability factors to determine whether the case will be assigned to an investigator. The objective for case screening is to utilize available manpower on cases that have the highest probability of being solved and closed. Factors to be considered may include but not limited to blah blah blah. So there you have it. That is the policy on incident reports. But they didn't do an incident report. So that's kind of suspect right there by itself. That's never happened. I've never had an issue where there was no incident report when there was that kind of police presence. We got the images. You see those on the page and the names. Of course, I already received those from the CAD sheet that I got from Augusta E911 Services. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So both of these officers started back in January, not even a month ago. So of course they don't have anything really crazy on their record yet. They pulled the driver over for a window tint violation as it stated in the email, and she was warned and let go. However, they're making the body cam exempt. But there's some issues with this already. A traffic violation like illegal tint is not probable cause to search a car. Now she could have given consent, or the K9 could have alerted, or didn't alert and they just lied about it. That's pretty common, by the way. But it's not enough probable cause to search a vehicle or put someone in handcuffs and put them in a police car, unless something else happened, which there's no incident report, so we don't know. But looking at the CAD sheet, go down here and find the old CAD sheet, it says here that it's a routine stop. Routine stop, no, it doesn't say anything about window tint or anything like that. And here we have two of the officers, but if you look back up here, there's actually, and I have some more video footage, it's two police cars and a K9 SUV. So we know there was three, but on the CAD report, it only listed two of the officers, which is why I get this CAD report, by the way, so I can definitely get the a definite identification of the officers that were on scene. And for how long, by the way, so I can determine how much the body cam would probably be, which this lasted from 4:55 to 5:30, so roughly 30 minutes, which is about right. That's about how long I was out there recording. So if we get down here, we got the officers' pictures that I got from the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. It's the only thing they gave up behind this. We got these officer certifications. And wow, man, look at McCants. He's been around. Waynesboro, Payne College. I'd like to find out what happened here. It's a long time ago. And the Burke County Sheriff's Office. So a lot of juicy records to get on him. And then we got Matthew Cowdrey. And he has a huge checkered past. A lot of resignations. I've already done requests for him for Greene County. I just want to start here and then I'll move to Burke County next, and then I'll go to Jenkins and Millen, and just keep on going, man, until I hit nothing. We'll find out exactly why this clown has left all these agencies. And of course, we have the email here where I did my initial request to Sheriff Harrison at the Greene County Sheriff's Office. And you can read that if you want. Kind of get a really deep insight into how I do all this. This is really the basic format of how a case evolves and how I get so much information. It takes a lot of open records requests to put a really good story together. And then we've got the one over here, McCants, who was the one who had the young lady in handcuffs and was escorting her. So I get his image on file, and this is going to Burke County Sheriff's Office. They have a portal, have a link here you can go to if you want to get some records on him. You can too, or anybody. So I want his photo. Even though I got his photo, I want to kind of have varying versions. What he looked like then, what he looks like now. Any Garrity warnings, which would indicate that he's been interviewed, questioned as part of a policy violation, which that incident report should trigger something like that, but we'll see. Any Miranda on file, which is criminal, if they violated any laws and they were being questioned because of it. It's rare, but it does happen. First page of all use of force reports. If you're wondering why I'm only wanting the first page, because the first page has all of the pertinent information that I would need to request body cam from that incident and any type of records for it. Other than that, this can be a very expensive document to get. So I only want the first page. I learned this lesson the hard way a long time ago, that they was wanting to charge me an insane amount of money for the whole packet. So that's all I really need. The arrest history, the individuals that the cop has arrested during his employment from Burke County, and I know they have that report because I have a couple of them already on some other officers. As you guys know, I investigated the Burke County Sheriff's Office quite a bit here recently, and still got some more work to do on that. I want all of his public complaints, so I can turn around then and get body cam from those. I want a disciplinary file, see if he's been written up, see where his weaknesses are. I want his resignation letter to see if that's even honest, right? I want to know why he really left. And any internal complaints. So quite a bit of information on both of these cops. And I'm not going to do a whole bunch at once. I'm just going to kind of like do a slow drip and just slowly get records and materials. Kind of like, like I've done with other cops. Richard Russell, with Usry, which we got a lot more coming in on him. But Sasser, a lot more coming on him too. Then we've got various places that I went around and parked. So you can watch all these video clips. Most of it was captured on my dash cam, but this right here was captured with my iPhone. You can see the officer right there inside the car, that little white thing that's like something out of his pocket or whatever, but he's in there searching around. Both of them are. Again, she could have given consent. Who knows? But I want to know how they got to that point. Did they use threats of arrest to coerce her into that unlawful search that they're doing? Because the window tint's not probable cause for a search. And then we got a little close up here of the cop taking the dog to shit in someone's yard. That is someone's yard, by the way. There's a house to the left there. And then we had the sheriff, Gino Brantley of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, who is spearheading this whole thing. He just took office last month, and he said he's going for change. Well, it looks like undocumented, non-transparent targeting of citizens using traffic stops is one of the things he's doing. He's not cleaning out his office. He's hired a bunch of new cops. It's like these two cops he hired. So we're going to get more on them. And here they are leaving. He makes sure he does a double pass by me. These cops don't know who I am, but they probably do now. It could be that the sheriff doesn't know that they're out doing these kinds of things. Maybe they're taking direction and just twisting it and making it their own thing. So where are we in the mix of all this? Well, as you can see, they are up to some nonsense with these open records requests. As usual, I have more issues with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office than I do with any other agency. And they just don't get it, man. They just don't get it. I've been dealing with them for years. There's a clear pattern at this point. So what I do, I went ahead and filed an Attorney General complaint again on them. I don't know how many this makes on the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. I know it's a dozen or more up to this point. It's been an ongoing issue with the same individuals over and over again. So, yeah, I did. I went ahead and filed an Attorney General complaint. I'm not going to read this whole thing out to you, but if you want to go on the website, you should have no problem reading this on your phone. But it is pretty concise, and it has nothing but factual data. And I just deliver exactly what happened and outline why I think that body cam should not be exempt. There's nothing those cops can do that should be secretive from the public. Everything they do we should be able to criticize. That is our constitutional right. And there's also another background issue going on with this, is the use of prior restraint. The bad faith responses that I get from them that have been clearly outlined in recent court cases where 3 open records lawsuits went on last year. The Open Records Act, as stated by Judge Klaus, stated that the Open Records Act is to be construed broadly. And she laid out a lot of key facts in what the two sides are fighting about. Is that one, first and foremost, is that the agency must have good faith intentions in locating records. I don't delete emails, by the way. Probably have well over several hundred emails just with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. And a lot of it is bad faith responses. But I did. I went ahead and filed this complaint to get some kind of a ball rolling, because I want that body cam. You know, I mean, it to me, it looked like this was just a random unlucky lady. And from the looks of it, let's go back up. There's a lot here, huh? And from the looks of it, she looks like she's wearing her work shirt. So she must have just gotten off work somewhere, and now they want to stop her for a window tint. And you know, the tent has to be checked with a calibrated tent reader. I have made videos about this. I learned this from James Madison Audits, where he made a whole video about it. He showed how the window tint reader is supposed to be calibrated and how it's supposed to be used. But I have yet to see a cop do it. So I wonder if they actually used the tent reader, if that was the real reason for the stop. Did someone give them information about this person? Or they acting on a tip? But I'm sorry, the routine traffic stop crap, that's not going to work, man. That's about as unconstitutional as it gets, just to randomly pull someone over. But I'm willing to bet that there is no window tint reader. That they didn't even use, they used some goofy test they seen on TikTok. But I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to know exactly what happened here. Now, this is the first time I've seen these clowns. I seen them again the next day on Bobby Jones, and I requested the CAD sheet for that. E911 Services doesn't have it, and Richmond County Sheriff's Office says it didn't happen. Although I've got video of it happening. It's wild, man. But it looked to be the same cops. So, I have to keep an eye out. Next time I have to get out and make sure I film. That's what I have to do. But in closing, you can go on the website and read all the documents and everything that I've done. And immerse yourself in this story, in the fight for whoever that lady is. Whether they eventually drop the tent ticket, she gets a lawyer and sues the living hell out of them, or she learns her rights under the United States Constitution. Do not talk to police. Invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, because you can't be made to incriminate yourself. And that looks like that might have been what happened here with this young lady. But that's just speculation. We don't really know. That's why we want the body cam, so we can have some transparency, so we can figure it out and see what's going on in the community. and let the people in the community know about what's going on. Make them aware. But I want to leave you with a question, and I want you to let me know what you think. I do this to people at work. The question is, if I pass a couple police cars in the median and I know that they're just running a speed check, is it legal for me to flash my lights to people coming in the opposite direction on the other side of the road? Is it illegal or is it legal? Let me know in the comments what you think, because so far no one's gotten this right when I ask it in person. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate you. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace and love.